If you're a beginning angler, it can be kind of hard to find information to help you out because most of the information that you're seeing out there is for intermediate to advanced anglers. And what I'm going to do in this video is this is geared towards beginners that is having issues with casting. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to cast a spinning reel, and this is going to be some basic information, but it's stuff that you really need to know. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Pat from Salt Strong, and the questions that I'm getting here is from our online fishing school. We have a free online fishing school that has beginner modules, intermediate modules, and advanced modules, and I went through the beginner module and looked at some of the questions, and the most common ones was coming towards casting. So that's what I want to talk about. One of the most common questions that we got when it comes to beginning casting was how much distance do you need between your lure and your rod tip before you make that cast? And it's typically about 12 to 18 inches. And that's going to give you enough momentum when you make that backswing that's going to load up that rod and you're going to be able to make that distance. Any more than that, it can be a handful, and sometimes your accuracy can come to play. Now, there are some advanced anglers that do use more than that, but as a beginning angler, 12 to 18 inches is about what you need. And that comes to the subject of leader length. Whenever you're using a leader on your rod, we recommend that you use an FG knot because it goes through those guides and you can reel it back in. But if you're not really good at tying the FG knot and you're using something that's a little bit more bulky, then your leader length needs to be to the point where that knot doesn't go in the guides. So your leader length doesn't need to be any more than what you can handle casting, which is going to be about 18 inches or so. That way you can keep the knot out of your guides. But I highly recommend learning that FG knot. It's one of the best ones. I'm going to show you a couple of tips here real quick when it comes to casting. These are good habits to get into. It's going to save you a lot of trouble in the long run, and that has to do with feathering your line, and I'll show you what I mean. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cast, and you're going to see my left hand is going to go to my reel, and I'm going to cup the spool of that reel and hold that line in between my fingers. And what I'm doing is towards the end of that cast, I'm slowing that line down a little bit, and what that does is it gets any of that bow out of that line. So when my lure hits the water, I can close the bail and I have pretty much direct contact without all that slack line. And this is really important, especially when you're having a windy day and if you have to cross, with that wind to your side, you're going to get a big bow in your line. By doing this, by feathering your line, you're going to get rid of that bow, and when you pick up that reel and you start reeling that lure in, you're going to have direct contact. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and cast out. I'm putting my hand right here, I'm cupping that spool, and then right there I use my fingers to slow that line down, so when the lure hit the water, it's already tight. I don't have any bow in my line. And this is also really important. This is another one here, is close your bail by hand every single time. Do not use your reel handle to close your bail. Close it with your hand. And then it's also a really good habit to get into giving your line a little bit of a tug whenever you close that reel. That way it tightens any of the line that's left on your spool and you don't have any loose ends that can cause a wind knot. So make sure you close that bail by hand, give that a little bit tug, and that's going to eliminate a lot of your issues when it comes to line management on these reels. So we're going to do that one more time. We're going to go ahead and cast it out there. I'm going to put my hand by that spool. The line is in between my fingers. I pinch it down right at the last second of that cast. It straightens out that line, and that way I'm ready to go. Now, I understand being a beginner angler, it's tough to find information because a lot of the videos that you see out there are geared towards people that's been fishing for a while. Now, what we have at Salt Strong is we have an online fishing school that takes you from a beginner angler to an intermediate to an advanced angler. And this course tells you everything that you need to know to get on the water and catch fish, all the way from the basics of tying a knot and how to cast a rod to selecting the right lures and finding where the fish are during certain times of the year. So if you're interested in something like this, definitely check it out. It's the online fishing school at saltstrong.com. So I hope this video helps you, and as always, I really do appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put those down below and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye.